What's Happening in These Streets is a program designed and created to talk with the unknown soldiers of yours and my community. Their gifts has been rewarding to the old and new by providing sources and resources to fulfill the needs of the people. You can find me at basementpartysociety.com BPS Live Video. Take time to view as you learn about what's happening in these streets.
And this book here is especially, will be presented to Loretta today for her contribution to the music and entertainment industry. And I have also autographed it for her. And the autograph goes as, to Loretta Phelps, what's happening in these streets? Thank you for your support, Teddy Astin.
Thank you so much, Teddy, and I accept it with honor and a lot of dignity, because these memories are also not just yours, but part of my life as well. So we're going to go into talking about actually the beginning of Teddy Astin, which you are from Palmetto, Georgia, near Fayetteville, is that correct?
Well, kind of, sort of.
Okay.
I'm a native of Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Grady baby. I was born at Grady Memorial Hospital. A lot of people are from Atlanta. A lot of people are transplants. But just because you're from Atlanta, I welcome everybody. But if you're not a Grady baby,
well, that would be me, because I'm not a Grady baby.
No, but just okay.
Yeah.
I'm a Grady
Yeah,
baby. That makes me authentic. But I was raised in what was considered back then to be the country.
Mm-hmm.
Fayetteville, Fairburn, Union City,
Right.
and Palmetto.
Right.
Those areas back then was considered to be the country, but they're all part of the suburbs now.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
just like Palmetto right now is just like going to Marietta.
So let's go back into Palmetto when you were there as a little boy, and you were like the local paper boy. I remember running those paper routes myself, you know, getting those little jobs to get some extra money to buy things that we liked.
Right.
But the most intriguing thing about you being the paper boy was that you were well liked by the white and blacks of the community, and you were so liked by the white community that you were able to drink from the white only fountain.
Yeah.
And then I read that you were also so intrigued with what was so different between the white and the black fountains that you drank from both of them, and you said that the water was no different.
Tasted the same.
So basically we were living under labels more than anything.
We were. I was the neighborhood paper boy. Started at 6 years old.
Okay.
And I'm walking downtown Palmetto one day. Palmetto's only this big. At least back then it was.
Right.
One red light in the town. I'm walking down Main Street, probably going to the drugstore to get some ice cream or something. And this white guy in a van said, "Hey, I'm looking for a paper boy. Would you be interested in helping me out with my paper route?"
Okay.
I said, "Well," I said, "you need to come to my house and talk to my mama. If she says okay, I'll do it." Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So back then, before the Atlanta Journal-Constitution consolidated, it was the Atlanta Journal.
Right.
Okay? So I was the paper boy for the Atlanta Journal, and then the Atlanta Journal newspaper came out in the afternoon.
Okay.
And the Atlanta Constitution would come out in the morning. So there was two different newspapers.
Mm-hmm.
So so we were throwing newspapers in the afternoon. You know, I was a bad paper boy, man. Ooh, ooh. Bam, bam, bam. You know, I could get those papers to those houses, you know. Every now and then, you know, a homeowner would come out and say, "Thank you, Daddy. Make sure you come by here for Christmas, you know, got some peppermint candy and, you know, the little fruit baskets, apples, oranges, pineapples, not pineapple, but peppermint." So, so a lot of people, plus all the people on the paper route was white anyway.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember ever delivering the paper to a black person's house.
Oh.
Never.
Okay.
You know, but I would get up at 5:30 every morning.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's still in the bed. Hey, I'm a 6-year-old kid. Getting up. You can't do that these days. I was get up, walk to the train depot,
Mm-hmm.
meet the route manager, where the Atlanta Journal and Constitution delivery
Right.
was stopping through every town from Atlanta to Palmetto, every stop. So Palmetto, they got to Palmetto, we'll get the newspaper, go out there and throw all the papers. Plus, I was responsible for keeping the newspapers machines filled up across the street
Mm-hmm.
at a service station
Mm-hmm.
owned by a very prominent white family called the Bradleys.
Okay.
Mr. Bradley owned the service station, and of course, in this service station, or beside the service station,
Mm-hmm.
there's a white water fountain and a white laundromat. In the back of the service station, there was a black laundromat and a black water fountain. So by me being the paper boy, you know, plus we used to use the black laundromat anyway, because we didn't have no washing and drying back then. So we had to come up there and use, so I'm real familiar with the territory there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the white water fountain and the white laundromat main and the black laundromat and the black water fountain. And so I was, you know, I knew what was going on there,
So
you know,
basically-
at a very early age. So one day I decided, look, I'm gonna get some of that white water over there. Why? You know, but I knew why. You know, but I didn't consider it to be a challenge. I just wanted to do it.
Okay.
And the owner would see me every day, look over there. Hey, Teddy. I delivered the paper to him and all of his relatives, so they didn't know me.
Right.
You know, so it
right.
wasn't like a stranger doing it, you know.
Yeah.
So I would get a look close every day to the water fountain, the white water fountain. So one day I just went over there and, you know, you had to turn the knob and the water shoots up.
Yeah.
I was drinking about 2 minutes. At some point, water just running out my mouth back into the fountain. And the white mechanic at the service station said, "Oh my God, Mr. Bradley, do you see what Teddy doing? He's drinking out the white water fountain. What we gonna do?" Mr. Bradley looked over and said, "I knew Teddy was gonna drink out of it sooner or later." Every day you get closer and closer to it.
Yeah.
But back then, when I really didn't think of the impact of it to my later years, because back then that was like around 1961, 62.
Yeah.
You know, segregation and racism, and
Yeah.
black boys were coming up missing all the time.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I could have been one of those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But thank God I wasn't. You know, but the next day, the next day at school, everybody like, "Did you hear what Teddy did?" Like, "What did Teddy do?" "He struck out the white water fountain." What? All the parents, the teachers, the moms, and the dad. What did Mr. Bradley do?
Yeah.
He didn't do nothing. Teddy go newspaper to his house. He get the paper machine filled up. He knows himself. He didn't do anything. Folks in Palmetto were shocked.
Yeah. And a small town such
It's a
as
small
Palmetto.
town, man.
So-
Word gets around, and you drink out the white water fountain, man. You may disappear.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
That
For some other youngster, that probably would have been that situation. But back to you and being prepped, because I think your status was spiritual as you were being prepared to get to the place that you have gotten over the years where you are with your success. So we're going to go back and talk about how did you assure each of these successful times when developing an artist to their plateau of success?
well, it was a long way from Palmetto.
Mm-hmm.
My mom moved us back to Atlanta,
Okay.
and basically I had a variety of jobs. You know, when we moved to Atlanta, my mom bought me a lawnmower so I can go out and cut the neighbor's grass.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I was the cheapest lawn
Landscaper,
man.
yeah.
I wasn't a landscaper, just a lawn man. I was the cheapest lawn man in town.
Yeah.
I would cut people's grass front, back, side for a whole $1. $1. Everybody was charging 45.
Yeah.
I cut everybody out.
Yeah.
I took over the neighborhood.
Yeah, I bet
You
you
know, but
did.
my mom, you know, she saw my desire to work and my
Mhm.
discipline, so she
Yeah.
bought me a lawnmower. Plus, it gave me money to help her out.
Yeah.
At one point, I was making more than my mom.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
so-
Oh wow, that was
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
But you know, $1 does it did go a long way back in those times back in the day.
Absolutely. So fast forward from that, I was working at this restaurant on North Side Drive called Old Hickory House.
Mm-hmm.
It was a chain of barbecue restaurants,
Yeah.
and a friend of mine worked there by the name of Charles Gear.
Exactly.
Charles is in my book. I
Yes.
dedicated a chapter to him.
You know, actually, Charles Gear and I go back a long way as well.
Yeah.
He had a record store. Music World was the name of the record store which Charles Gear owned, and I used to shop there and get all my music.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out he was working for Atlantic Records.
Yes.
Yes. And then now you saying that you met him at the
Old
Old
Hickory
Hickory House.
Right, we were working at the Old Hickory House at a chain of restaurants
Mhm,
around
they
Atlanta.
did.
Northside Drive. They had one on Camerton Road.
They had one
Memorial
on
Drive. Stewart
North Lake
Avenue.
Parkway too.
I think that's the only one left.
Is
North
it?
Lake
It's still
Park.
open?
Yes,
Yeah.
to my knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only one left. But Charles was working for Old Hickory House, but he always had his hands in the music industry.
Right.
Charles and Gladys Knight lived in the same neighborhood.
Right.
And Charles was very instrumental in her recording her first record, Every Beat of My Heart.
Right. Okay.
So from that, Charles developed a reputation in the music industry. So over the years, a lot of the record companies took notice of him.
Okay.
And while we were both working at Old Hickory House, Atlantic Records called Charles and wanted to know if he'd be interested in coming to work for Atlantic Records.
Okay.
That way, they would have a regional representative in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So Charles got the job working for Atlantic Records. I'm still at the Old Hickory House,
Okay.
and I'm ready to get up out of there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they were working
Yeah,
hard over there.
Yeah, you had to work for the money. So
Yeah, they did.
I decided to, at that point, I started out as a dishwasher, but I was doing good. I was hustling over there.
Yeah.
I started out as a dishwasher, then the busboy, then I was a cook,
Okay.
then eventually I was a pit man.
Okay. Yeah,
Pit.
working the pit for the ribs and
Yes,
stuff.
cooking
Mhm.
the barbecue ribs, the
Pork
pork,
rolls.
the pork and the beef.
Mhm.
And steaks, cooking steaks.
Mhm.
So
Good.
I was rolling pretty good there, but at the same time I was ready for a change.
Yeah. So how did you get to Warner Brothers Distribution Center?
Okay, so Charles was working for Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, Charles, you gotta get me out of here. See if you can get me a job working over at the distribution center. He said, well, let me see what I can do.
Right.
He talked to the warehouse manager. The warehouse manager said, tell Teddy to come out here and talk to me. I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hired to work in the warehouse.
Right.
In the warehouse, you're pulling orders
Right.
for the record stores, the record chains, the record distributors
Mhm.
all over the country. So once, I worked there for a couple of years, never missed a day, never late.
Mm-hmm.
So when the position became available in the mailroom, I was promoted to the mailroom supervisor.
Okay.
And the mailroom supervisor is a very important job because you got to be responsible for making sure that all the radio stations get the music that they need for their format.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because if you're a top 40 station
Mm-hmm.
and you're getting country records, that ain't what you want right now, unless it crosses over.
Right.
You need what you need when the record comes out
Mm-hmm.
in order to be competitive
Right.
with
Okay.
your competitors.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to go in there and get the mailing list straightened out, to make sure that all the radio stations got all the music for their format.
Mm-hmm.
So all the program directors, the music directors are telling the company that, man, Teddy's doing a great job there. We finally getting the music that we needed.
Mm-hmm.
We've been complaining about this for years.
Mm-hmm.
So word gets to Warner Brothers because basically in the distributor there,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not only I'm sending out records, cassettes, 45 albums, for 3 different record labels.
Mhm.
Warner Brothers, Elektra, and Atlantic. That's why the distributor was called WEA.
Right, exactly.
Warner, Elektra, Atlantic. So they heard about the great job I was doing in the mailroom, finally getting the mailroom straightened out. So during that time, music was really popping, man. Soundtrack, black music was, black music was on fire.
Everywhere.
But Warner Brothers didn't have any black music.
Right, okay.
But in-house at Atlantic Records, they were smoking.
Mm-hmm.
Aretha Franklin, Donny Hathaway,
Wilson Pickett,
yeah. Ray Charles, Sister Sledge, Donny Hathaway, Roberta Flack. And not only that, not to mention, that's just in-house. All that black music in-house. Not to mention that what Motown was doing,
exactly.
Epic was doing, all the soundtracks coming out like Sparkle, 10 million. Superfly, 10 million. The Mac, all those kind of movies with those soundtracks.
Exactly.
So Warner Brothers is like, ooh, I think we're missing the boat here. We need to get some of this black money. So Warner Brothers put together, so they started looking around, who do we want to be part of this dynasty that we're getting ready to build?
Okay.
And of course, when they started hiring people around the country, there was 2 markets left to hire.
Okay.
So the senior vice president of Warner Brothers said, Teddy, I have 2 positions open. Where you want to go? One is Charlotte, one is Miami.
Right. Exactly.
Which city would you rather go? I'm like, Miami.
Because you thinking about party. There's going to be a party down in Miami, right?
Man,
South Beach.
I love the beach.
Uh-huh.
I said, why do you want to go to Miami? I said, well, I love the beaches. Close to Jamaica, close to Bahamas. Only 90 miles from Cuba? Never been to Cuba.
Okay.
They're like, oh, you would not be going to Miami. We're going to send you to Charlotte.
Yes. And
which is the best decision, the best thing that ever happened to me in my life.
Exactly, because actually you worked Charlotte and South Carolina. You worked those Carolinas.
North South Carolina.
Yeah, but the first act that you had a tour promotion was Prince with the Soft and Wet.
That was the first major.
First major. So was there anybody before Prince that you were working?
Well, yeah, because Candy Staten just had released an album called Young Hearts Run Free.
Exactly.
It's the last album I mailed out the mailroom.
Oh, okay.
But the first record that I had to work when I got to Charlotte.
Well, that's a wonderful thing.
Oh, that's a great thing.
Because you were familiar with the product.
Yeah. But plus, not only was I familiar with the product, but I was familiar with what promotion was all about.
Okay.
Charles Gearhead would take me out on the road with him.
Oh, right.
Prior to me getting the job to different radio stations around the country. I had to learn the lingo. And the most important thing he taught me was, whatever you say you're going to do it.
And you know something with that note right there, Teddy, I think just from the little boy hustling, and when we start promoting records and talking to individuals, you already had a knack on how to do that.
And the key thing is treat people the way you want to be treated.
Exactly.
Don't tell somebody you're going to do something.
And don't.
Just to be talking, and it just goes in one ear and out the other.
Okay.
So, you got to follow up on what you say. Do what you say what you're going to do.
Okay.
So basically, at that time, Charles Gear said, I know Teddy. I always knew Teddy was going to be great in promotion because I taught him.
Right.
I learned from the best.
Right,
So
exactly.
So I'm on the promotion staff in Charlotte.
Okay.
One of my first assignments is Candy Staten. She's got this gigantic record busting called Young Hearts Run Free. So long story short, we're in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Candy Staten's on tour.
Right.
And we're in Fayetteville, North Carolina. She's booked at the auditorium that night.
Right.
I'm at a radio station there called WIDU, bring her over for an interview, and she goes on back to the hotel getting ready for the show. As she's getting ready for the show, the bottom falls out the sky.
Wow.
Thundering, lightning, flooding.
Okay.
The concert promoter gets cold feet
Right.
and cancels the concert.
Oh, wow.
I guess you say, if I carry on this concert and nobody come and she gets to the stadium, I'm gonna have to pay her the rest of her money.
Right.
But if I cut my losses now, I'm only gonna be out of half of what it costs me to do it.
Right. Exactly.
So half of the deposit that you have to pay the artist.
Yeah.
So he canceled the show. Candace said, Teddy, the show's canceled. What we gonna do? I said, well, why don't you just bring the band up to the radio station?
Mm.
You know, you got a #1 record. They're playing 3 cuts deep on your album.
Right.
Why don't you just, you're already here, just bring the band up to the radio station and do a concert for the staff.
Okay.
In the meantime, I'd gone and bought a bunch of liquor, beer, wine, spirits, food, catering stuff. So, a nice spread for the staff, the station, the staff, Candy, and the band. Man, when they got up in there, they rocked the house.
Yeah.
You probably, that may be the only time something like that has ever happened. A live band in a radio station.
Right.
You know, and by the time they finished, there wasn't a drop in the sky.
But let me say, make a comment on that as well. You knew how to tie things together. You knew how to market the people that you were marketing. Because you were known in the Carolinas to do it big. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
Remember when you did Teddy Astin,
Yeah.
Every Home Should Have One, and you did that promotion, and that was big, and somebody you had in a limousine. And you recall that time when you were doing all that stuff? So it was very, very good.
Yeah.
But speaking of the Carolinas as well, you met the one of the most wonderful people in your whole life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's my wife.
Exactly.
But prior to meeting my wife,
Okay.
my second promotion, large promotion in the Carolina was Prince.
Yes.
That was the Prince promotional tour.
Mm-hmm.
The Prince promotional tour, Prince had just presented Warner Brothers with an album.
Mm-hmm.
Unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
18 years old.
Right.
He produced it. He arranged it. He played all the instruments. And he wrote all the lyrics.
Right.
Here's the album. 18-year-old kid doing all of that.
Is that how he was when he did Soft and Wet?
Yeah, that was something what was on the first album.
Yeah, that was the first.
So, so he releases the album.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking the company, I said, look, I want Prince in Charlotte for a promotional tour.
Right.
It's around Thanksgiving.
Right.
When he released it, maybe about a month or two before Thanksgiving. And they're like, I don't know, Teddy, I don't know if that's a good idea. Okay, so I asked the company once the album was released. I just heard, when I heard this album, it's like the freshest music I ever heard in my life, especially during that era. And I'm like, I really would like to have him to come to Charlotte to do a promotional tour, Thanksgiving weekend, to raise food for the food banks and the needy families.
Okay.
So Warner Brothers is like, Ted, I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Why? He doesn't talk.
Right.
And if he doesn't talk, it may do more harm than good.
Right.
Well, you ain't got to do a lot of talking to sign autographs.
Right.
You know, first of all. Plus, the only way that you could get Prince autograph was to bring at least 2 cans of non-perishable food. But people were bringing boxloads of food.
Right.
You know what I mean? There was so much food. We had to have 2 tractor trailers to carry all the food back.
Oh, that's great.
But it wasn't, he didn't talk a lot, but he just didn't like a lot of pressure. You know?
Okay.
So when he gets to Charlotte, he said, Teddy, what you want me to do? Here's the itinerary. Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
He said, I only have one request. After we do the autograph signing, the promotional tour, go to the radio station, go to the record store, do an in-store appearance. Only thing I want to do is go see Superman. Can we go see Superman? Yeah.
Simple request, right?
Yes,
You know another artist that was intriguing to me that you promoted, Sylvester. And Sylvester said when Sylvester came to Atlanta, Sylvester request was, okay, I can do all the things you want me to do, but there's one thing I want from you, Teddy. And you said, what's that? He said, I want to go to Backstreet. And they gave him a royal.
Well, he didn't exactly say Backstreet. He said the gay clubs.
Okay, okay.
You know, so well, basically, Sylvester just had signed with Warner Brothers.
Okay.
And, okay, so I never met him. So,
No.
but I was
Okay.
intrigued to meet him.
Okay.
So I go to the airport to meet Sylvester. He's getting off the HD plane. That's when, back then, you could go to the airport and meet your guests at the gate.
Yeah, I remember.
Before all the security and
Right,
everything. So
right.
I'm at the gate.
You had that little sign.
No.
No, you didn't have your Warner Brothers sign?
I think I got a Warner Brothers jacket.
Okay.
You know.
Mhm.
So he gets off the plane. Very flamboyant. He had
Yeah,
on this long mink coat.
Okay.
He had a long wig on with white streak
Uh-huh.
down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And when he gets off the plane, we lock eyes.
Okay.
And hey, Sylvester, good to meet you, man. How are you? I'm Teddy Astin with Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
With Warner Brothers Records. Like, I know who you are.
Okay.
I know you are, Teddy. I heard a lot about you. You one of the reasons I signed with Warner Brothers.
Oh, okay.
So, oh really? Okay. So we get in the car,
Mm-hmm.
go to, I got him booked at the Ritz-Carlton.
Right, okay.
So we get to the Ritz-Carlton. He's like, oh my God, Teddy, you got me at the Ritz. I said, yeah, you the damn king, ain't you? You damn right I'm the king. You damn right I'm the king. Yo, he's feeling really good now. I said, okay, here's your itinerary. I need you to be ready at 8 o'clock. We're meeting with radio stations, retailers, and some of the branch management.
Yeah.
Cool, I can do that. So after that, it's about, we wound down about 11:30, 12 o'clock.
Right.
He's like, Teddy, I'm going to go to some of the gay clubs. He
Okay.
said, I understand if you don't want to go. You know, I can do this by myself.
Right.
I said, you kidding me? I'm your representative everywhere we go.
Okay. Cool.
I don't care where we go.
Oh, I love it. I just love it. Yeah, I love that.
You know, I don't care where we go. I said, I'd be delighted to go.
Oh, yeah.
Man, could you
I had a
kidding me?
ball, right.
Oh, a ball. He wasn't even, a ball ain't the word for it. So I said, look, here's what I'm going to do. I'll be back at 12. We're going to run a limo.
Okay.
And we're going to hit the town.
Okay.
Whew. We hit 3 clubs. Back Street was one of the clubs.
Did you go to Limelight? Was that out there? Up in Buckhead?
Yeah, I know what Limelight was. Yeah. Right up there by the Disco Kroger. They didn't call it the Disco Kroger. I think they did.
They did.
They call it the Disco Kroger. But anyway, each club that we went to, we were treated like royalty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Put on a pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm with him. I'm with the king. I'm with the king. But we had such a great time.
Well, listen,
know?
let's talk about this group right here, because these people had the love of life, and I think because of the type of relationship that they had, influenced your selection for your wife. And I'm talking about Ashford and Simpson. And Nick Ashford had a conversation with you, and it was like, yeah, that's the one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I don't know what happened. I'm just reading between the lines.
Well, he didn't have to tell me. I already knew it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because when I met Joyce in Charlotte,
Right.
I had been promoted to the National Director of Promotion.
Okay.
And now I'm living in D.C.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, right.
So I had asked Joyce if she wanted to come up for a weekend and spend the weekend with me in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that same weekend, Ashford and Simpson was playing at not Meriwether, but a concert venue in Columbia, Maryland.
Okay.
And Meriwether Post Pavilion had this great venue. Seats all around. It's like in the circle.
Mm-hmm.
Stage would go around,
Right,
you know,
right,
and
right.
everything. So
They call it in the round.
in the round, yeah, in the round.
Mm-hmm.
So, but prior to the show, I was checking with Will Call to make sure that the promoter had left all my tickets and backstage passes for my guests.
Mm-hmm.
After the show, they
Right.
could come backstage and have a little hors d'oeuvres and drinks and wine and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And after the show, I introduced Nick and Valerie Simpson
Right.
to Joyce.
Okay.
And they're like, "Whoa, Teddy, when did y'all meet?"
Right.
They really were talking to her. They kind of shut me up. Joyce, when did y'all meet? What? How long y'all been going together? Well, we've been going together about a year. Are y'all gonna get married? Wow, Teddy, don't you let her get away. She's beautiful. Then Valerie starts. And I'm like, I couldn't get a word in.
Okay.
So I'm like, I gotta go check on my guests. Let me get a glass of wine. And, you know, they were very nice and cordial, but they just felt that, you know, closeness that that's who they felt like would be perfect for me.
And she is.
And she is,
Exactly.
absolutely. But just to have them to kind of, yeah, man, and, ooh, don't let her get away. So as they were leaving, their limo, the party winding down, the limo's back there to pick up Nick and Val, and they're like, Nick is like, Teddy, don't you let her get away. I'm like, yeah, man.
So yeah, that was a great choice, and I think when you're happy and when you're in love and happy, the sky's the limit, because your whole being and persona is so, I guess, innocent, loving, that you excel in things that you never thought you would. So in your career, having that type of person to support you and keep you motivated with love, and you already had it in you from a child. So what motivated you most to achieve such phenomenal success to disbelief by achieving 5 promotional Man of the Year awards in MVP? That part, you know, you said it's like 5 Super Bowl rings.
Well, you know, if you're the promotion man of the year 5 times, MVP, I kind of equate that to 5 Super Bowls, 5 NBA championships, 5 World Series, 5 hockey championships. You know, it's just kind of like me thinking out loud. You know what I mean?
Right.
But to do that, I wasn't trying to do it. You know what I mean? I read a quote somewhere where an author said, a person that's looking for success never have time
To be successful.
to be successful. Because you're not thinking about it. You're just doing your job. You know? Plus, I'm young, man. I'm in my late 20s. You know. I mean,
but you know, when you have something that you truly enjoy, it's a part of you, embellishing your soul. Work is never, like
work wasn't work.
Right, so like I worked WRSG over 30 years, free. I worked for free for 30 years in radio.
Wow.
Because that was something I enjoyed, and I learned how to improvise, go get a job, get you some money, and do your volunteer over here.
Right.
And I watch people like Dr. Feelgood, Mitch Faulkner, Casual Cal, Larry Tinsley, and the women of radio, Carmen Burns, what was her name, Cheryl Christopher, you remember Cheryl Christopher?
Absolutely.
And those people encouraged me. Cheryl really encouraged me. It was like she had finished Columbia School of Broadcasting. I came out of Elkins, and I'm like, oh, my school is not accredited. Right, she said, don't worry, just complete it.
Right.
And so when she told me to complete, that's when I realized if whatever I do, just complete it.
Yeah.
Right? And that pushes you to the next level.
Right.
You know?
So plus, I was getting so many compliments from the artists and the promotions that I was doing. And some of the promotions that I was doing in the Carolinas was adapted as national promotion.
Right.
I was able to break so many records in the Carolinas because North and South Carolina had more radio stations than any other part of the region.
Okay. As far as urban radio?
Yes, it's right. In terms of black radio, yes. Man, I mean, at one point, between North and South Carolina, they had like 6 100,000 watt radio stations.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, you get those stations in Florida,
Down
South Carolina,
Augusta,
Virginia, Augusta, I mean, all over the place. So, and, you know, and just developing a good work ethic.
Exactly,
you know?
yeah. That makes it
that work ethic what really was one of the big reasons for my success.
What's Happening in These Streets is a program designed and created to talk with the unknown soldiers of yours and my community. Their gifts has been rewarding to the old and new by providing sources and resources to fulfill the needs of the people. You can find me at basementpartysociety.com BPS Live Video. Take time to view as you learn about what's happening in these streets.